Yeah. Hey, y'all, come on in, guys. Thank you so much. This is your legal bestie, attorney Symone. Listen, this is long overdue. I really appreciate you guys who tag me and let me know when there's commentary and there's content you want me particularly to cover. And this is it. In my state, in the state of Texas, we have been dealing with the Texas redistricting issue for some weeks now. However, the poop has really hit the fan because Republicans have lost their ever-loving mind. Their ever-loving mind. If you weren't familiar, basically, Republicans have kidnapped, I do say kidnapped, and I'm going to explain why later. Republicans have kidnapped Rep. Nicole Collier. She is a rep that represents Tarrant County, which is the Fort Worth area. And the way in which they've done that is they have literally told her that she cannot leave. And they have trapped her in the assembly room of the Texas State Legislature for the last 2 days. Today, I'm talking to you on Wednesday. They have trapped her since Monday because she would not agree to be in police custody indefinitely. So they wanted her to sign a piece of paper that effectively said she was agreeing that an officer would be with her 24/7 until we don't know when, until whenever the main rep of the House Assemblyman decided that, she didn't need that representation anymore, or that supervision anymore. So that's detention. It doesn't matter that, oh yeah, he's going to come with you, but she had to be completely under that supervision. Why? Because the Republicans were concerned that the Democrats wouldn't show up to vote for or to provide the necessary quorum. They only needed 12 Democrats because they needed 100 people to be present in order for them to pass legislation to approve their racist ass bills. Their racist ass gerrymandering structure. So I'm going to periodically, you guys know I'm ADD, but I'm going to do my best to also kind of peruse through the commentary as well, because I do want to make sure I get your questions. You guys know I'm a real lawyer, but I'm not rich. So feel free, if it's a very important question, you can also you can send me a super chat. They start like 99 cents or $1. That way I will not miss it. But oh yeah, somebody said, can they do that? And the answer is that legal? No, hell to the no. And I want to break down why. Part of what took me so long is I want to make sure that I had facts, that I have receipts, and then I can give you guys some tidbits that you can repeat if you're talking about it at work, and you can repeat and discuss on an informative basis. Because a lot of times when you're talking about politics, it can get very emotional. Oh, yeah. People are like, what? They've lost their mind. Hold on. Oh, I got to show you our homegirl. I got to show you Miss Nicole. Because they've lost their whole mind. Whole mind. Hold on. Whole mind. I've never seen a mess like this before. Ever. Nope, not that one. Ever. Oh, here we go. This, let me move this one. And there you are. This is our state rep. This is how she has been for the last 2 days. 2 days now. We're going on the third day. So I'm going to give you the backstory. And thank you. Oh, you like my hair? Great. It's another Amazon fave. But the backstory of it is this. The Republicans have been trying to diminish the non-white vote for years once they began to see that the Hispanic population had outnumbered the white population. In addition, they were becoming particularly upset here in Texas because in Texas, all of our major cities are Democratic. So that would be Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio area. And as a result, the Republicans, have now started to use what's called gerrymandering, which is where you just redraw the lines in a way that doesn't have any actual logic aside, but to take votes from brown people and give more strength to white people. I'm just going to start with this little fun fact right here, because I need to put this in context for you guys. Because when I was hearing it, I'm ADD. When I was hearing it, I was like, can y'all please explain this to me in regular people terms, just like regular people words that I can get. Here's the gist of the proposed gerrymandering and how it works. In effect, the law says it should be one vote for one person. Like each person's vote counts, right? We're not slaves anymore. Okay. This here, beautiful woman, Nicole Collier. Also, we should donate to her. I'm going to drop that link. I'll put it in the description because y'all know I can't multitask. But this woman, Miss Collier here and so forth, here we're allowed one vote for one person, right? Under the rules. We are no longer 3/4 of a man, which was done so that Southerners could have more representation in Congress because they were able to count slaves. So every, 3/5 of a slave meant representation in Congress, meant more state reps basically for those rich Christians of theirs. So it's supposed to be one person, one vote. I love this statistic. I want to share it with you. Let me put it back up. But in reality, this has actually been going on since 2019. So since 2019, as the Republicans were getting concerned about losing their majority, and it's a very small majority, they said, well, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to redraw these maps. And I want you to pay close attention to some of the quotes I'm going to be giving you. Here's an interesting fact. What they're saying today is that, hey, guys, no, this isn't racist, because under the law, under Texas law, particularly, if you are doing redistricting based on getting more Republican votes, it's completely legal. Completely. I couldn't believe it, but it's true, y'all. Did y'all know that? It is completely legal to redraw it so that, hey, you could do it so that there are no Republican votes if you wanted to. Or if you're in California, no Republican votes in Cali, but no Dems here. According to the U.S. Supreme Court, they recently ruled, y'all, I think it was in 2019 or 2021, that, well, if a state wants to do that, that's not our business. My name's Bennett and I ain't in it. This is Trump's Supreme Court said that because they said this is what's called a states only matter. They said it's a non-justiciable matter. So in other words, it means, oh yeah, they love to redistrict. So it means, hey, as long as the Republicans go to court and say, no, Your Honor, we weren't being racist. We were just being Republican. We were just trying to gain more Republican seats. Then it's outside of the hands of the federal government. So that means, well, then who can determine if this is permissible? Only our state Supreme Court. Guess who's on our Texas State Supreme Court? We have 9 justices. Guess how many of them are Republican? 9. 2 elected. The other 9 were appointed. In other words, the very people we'd have to go to determine if it's improper, the way in which they are redistricting to gain more Republican seats, are Republicans who are appointed and or elected for being a Republican. In Texas, it's partisan. You have to pick a party. And here, 7 of the 9 were appointed. They didn't even get to run. So what we don't even know in Texas, if we got to vote for all 9 of our candidates for state Supreme Court, we don't even know if we'd have some Dems on there, but we ain't got them now. And that's the problem. Felon in chief. That's right. That's the problem. Hit that like, you guys. Hit that subscribe. I know I've been away for a minute. So I really need that to help me with the, what do they call that? The analytics. But in effect, so what's been going on now is the issue is my one vote as a Black person is worth 1/5 of the vote of a white one. And every Hispanic vote is worth 1/3 of the Caucasian votes. Don't believe me? I'm going to share it with you. Our Senator State Rep Vince Perez had an analysis done, and it was really powerful. I'm gonna add this to the stage. Y'all got to see this. Y'all got to see this. Share it with your mama and whoever else. You got to see this. There we go. We're gonna add that. There we are. So Senator Perez, because I like the numbers, what he specifically broke down is he said, listen, one of the main Democratic arguments that are made against the proposed map is that it's not merely a partisan, like based on gaining more Republican seats map. It's explicitly discriminating on the base of race. Okay. Specifically, he goes on to say, yeah. Republicans are saying, oh, they added actually 2 more Republican districts in prior years. It says in a recent statement, the Republican Party chair, she says, she says the new District 9 would be drawn to create a Hispanic majority district. This reflects the growing Hispanic electorate in Harris County, many of whom voted Republican last November. In total, 5 of the 8 Harris County congressional districts would have non-Anglo majorities, increasing minority representation across the board. I was like, okay, that's interesting. Y'all, here's how they do it. What they do is they redistrict and they basically combine Latinos with whites, or they count people they know can't vote. So they count Hispanic unlawful citizens, or lawful citizens, or whatever they are, but Hispanics who can't vote. So they're basically showing the court, like, look, we made more Hispanic districts, but they can't vote in that district. You have to be a citizen to vote. So one, you're not slick to say, oh, now 5 out of the 8 in Harris County are, they're saying they're non-Anglo. Well, here, Trump is trying to get 5 new seats. He needs that. He feels like he needs that. So he, just 38 total seats, and 5 more would get him to 30 out of 38 instead of 25. Well, the way they have added 5 new, or they basically, to get him the 5 more seats, they redistrict. But what they did is they knew that the court is going to be looking for racism. So they're going to the court and saying, no, Your Honor, 4 of the 5 new districts are majority Hispanic. Y'all, but these Hispanic people, the majority of them, or a large contingent, can't vote. So it doesn't help if they're majority Hispanic, and then you combine the Caucasians that do vote. So that's what they're doing. So they're mashing together Black people and Hispanics. They call it smashing and crashing, or whatever it is. They're mashing together Blacks and Hispanics. And then they're also taking like Hispanics who can't even vote and shifting them over to white neighborhoods as well. They're taking Black voters and shifting them and combining them into very rural communities that don't make any sense. So Vince Perez says he disputes the Republicans' claim that, oh, this is creating more diversity. He said there's 11 million white residents in Texas. Latino residents passed that number within the last few years. Yet Congress, where Congress can elect their candidates for choice, and it far outnumbers where Latinos or Blacks can do the same thing. He says, I'm telling you that if there are 26 seats and there are 11 million white residents, that breaks down to 430K white residents per seat. Okay, makes sense. It says, so what does that mean for Latinos? That means that it should be 1 seat. It's 1 congressional seat for every 1.2 Latinos and 1 seat for every 2 million Black voters. But it's not. It's not. Instead, here's what we got. So disgusting. I'll share this one real quick. Oh no. There we go. Make sure you can see it. Because I'm just giving you guys the backstory so that you know why Miss Thing is so mad and she's living. She is so crazy. And why she's living overnight in the assembly hall. All right. So I hope you can see this pretty good. All right. So what this is here, this is the proposal. Just stick with the numbers. So in effect, in 2024, 56% of Texans voted Republican for Donald Trump. It says to the almost 43% who voted for Kamala. You know, there are others as well, the third party. But that same year, 27 of Texas's 38 seats went for Trump, making up 71% of the total districts. That's with the current already unfair redistricting. In other words, if you win 56% of Texans, you should receive approximately 56% of the seats. Duh. But that's not the case. Y'all, with this proposal, the numbers here show that with only 56% of the vote, you have 79% control. That means there's less for blacks and Hispanics. That means for the Dems and the blacks and Hispanics that have voted that way, it means that for every 43 of you guys, if there's 100 people, for every 43 people that vote Democrat, it only counts 21 times. It only counts like 21 votes. That's half. That's half. So for every 56 voters that are Republican, they get 79 votes. And then for every 43 Democratic votes, it only counts as 21. Let me know if that meant, yes, the math isn't mathing, particularly because guess what, guys? We're now redistricting in the middle of a decade. You always do it. You do it when the census is, unless it's this case where he's running scared and doesn't think that he can win without it. So in turn, there are more. Sorry, I'm going to answer this quickly. So in turn, he's doing this to save his seats. We got it. But in doing so, it's because he doesn't want our votes to count one for one. Peep the strength of that. For every 56 votes for a Republican that are cast, they get 79. 79 votes. For every 42 votes counted for a Dem, we get only 21. It impacts Congress. It impacts the state. It impacts it all. More than that, currently, there are more Hispanic residents in the state of Texas. It's slightly more. It's like 41% Hispanic, 40% white, and then the rest is black and Asian and other. Well, that means white population is decreasing, Hispanic and black is increasing, yet and still we don't get no increase of representation. But more specifically, so I'm gonna kind of give you this backstory, and then I'm gonna share with you, y'all. I got it. So our good homegirl, she's not our rep. Okay, our rep. Here she is. Our rep, who's been sitting there all that. She filed a lawsuit against them, and I'm glad. Oh, the connection is blurry. I'm so sorry. Let me turn on my other internet. I do see it. Hold on. Well, the state rep here that we're talking about, she filed a lawsuit against them, and I am going to break that down, and that's going to help me explain exactly why it is not legal for them to lock her up, and I hope that she gets all the money that she possibly can. It says, if this goes ahead, Black people will be harshly impacted by service delivery. It means Black districts, services can be cut, schools, etc. No, absolutely. That is, and that's the problem. And that is the problem. Also, I love State Rep Jolanda Jones. She's my rep, actually, and you probably have seen her on Don Lemon and some others. And basically what she was explaining is when we lose our seats, you don't get them back. You don't ever get them back. It just makes it harder and harder for your vote to count. As well, the way that they've restructured the districts, if you're a Texan, you know, they don't make no darn sense. Hold on, guys. That was my do not disturb. They don't make any sense because they do things like they cut Dallas literally in half. Dallas is cut in half. And this is how scared these people are of Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. The way they recut it, they cut Jasmine out of her own district. So she would have to move if she wanted to run again. And they effectively combined her district, which is mostly Dallas, with another Black congressman who's also Black. And so instead of the 2 Blacks, we'll have Black districts. We would only have 1. And then finally, I want you to see this little fact, this little factoid. I hate this shit. I hate this shit. I hate this. I hate this so much. Here we go. I love these charts. So we're going back to this little chart. I want to show you. Yeah, here we go. All right. So it was, there you go. Let me see. You see it here? Yeah, it says if this goes ahead, Black people. Yep. This is, I hate when people say voting doesn't matter. It absolutely matters because the Supreme Court is a huge problem here. It says, aren't there more registered Democratic voters in Texas? I heard that Texas has 1.5 more Democratic voters, 1.5 more, but the gerrymandering makes it harder for them to vote. Yeah, we absolutely do. Also, Dallas County and Harris County, so Dallas and Houston, those counties literally have more Black female judges than any county in the United States of America. Why? It's because the majority of the voters at the time were majority African-American women, and particularly African-American women over 40 were the largest voting Black. That's why Dallas had a Black DA for a while. A plethora of our judges in Dallas and Harris County are African-American. So in order to stop that, they don't want any more African-American Dems as judges, etc. That is in part while they're doing this. So let me put this back up. Where did my little stat go? Here it is. Oh, yes. Here it is. All right. And then, so then here we are. They broke down basically like what the Dems are, what the Republicans are doing real quick. Yes, they kidnapped her. This is kidnapping. Ho. I'm gonna start this one because I'm going to get back to the kidnapping for sure. Excuse me. So effectively, this is what they did. I really like this graphic because I feel like it kind of just breaks it down, which is this. So the law says 1 vote, 1 person. So that means every district has to have the same number of citizens. For Texas, it's like 788,000 people. So every district, congressional district, must have the same number of people. So if you want to best understand kind of what they're doing here, you see how the blue, let's assume the blue is Democrats and the red are Republicans. So it says in this hypothetical, where the majority of this district supports the blue party, right? But the red party is in control and is drawing the districts. So here's what happens. There's 15 blocks. That means if has to be 3 districts because they have to be even, that means each district has only 5 blocks. Well, the fairest way to do the 5 blocks is this top row, middle row, bottom row. They're each 5. You think that's what the ruling Republicans would do? Hell no. So they come down to this example. If you look, so instead of doing the 1, 1, 1, if you look down here, this is 1, 2, 3 blocks, but only because they shoved all the Dems into only 1 block. Then you probably can't see it. Let me see if you can see it there. Up. Oh no, there you go. I do this every time because it's a photo. Make it bigger. So basically what you see here is the top are the red ones, right? If each district has to have 5, you could go across, middle, bottom, right? But then the Dems would control. Mind you, this hypothetical is assuming that the Dems are the majority, but the red party's in control. So basically what they've done is what we see at that bottom block. They literally maneuvered like a snake. And the result is you got 1 Democratic district, and then you've got 2 that are going to be controlled by the Republicans. So when people say our vote doesn't count, our vote is diluted, our vote has been watered down, that's what they mean. And I was listening to the live testimony earlier, and Republican after Republican got on that mic and said, what do you mean your vote doesn't count? It's the same number of people in every district. Shut the hell up. You know exactly what the hell that I'm talking about. So we're going to talk solutions at the end. I'm going to show you her lawsuit real quick and why. Yeah, the charts show corruption. Somebody said, I'm ADD, so I tune out for numbers, but the charts show corruption. Just think of it, basically the gist is with the new maps, For every 56 Republican votes, they get the power of having 79. For every 42 Democratic votes, it's like we only get the power of 21. We get half the power. They basically get 40% more. Yeah, they also don't want to count migrants in the next. No. So actually, they do now. So here's the thing. They want you to think they don't, but part of their new racist strategy is they thought of is they want to count migrants in the census, and then they move them, though, to white areas because that means it strengthens the white vote. That's because migrants can't vote. But when they go to court and they have to defend their voting gerrymandering as racist, they say, oh, no, but we have a majority Hispanic district, or we have, Your Honor, we have just as many Hispanics as we have whites. No, bitch, you know good and well, 75% of them are migrants working on your farms who can't even vote. So that don't even count. And the rest are Dems or Dem leaning. Not all Latinos are anymore. And so that is a large part of what is the problem. All right. So last but not least, I'm just so irritated. I hate these people. I hate them so bad. We're going to talk about, so last but not least, we're going to talk about her lawsuit real quick. And then I'm also going to explain the potential solutions. And I want to hear your thoughts on those because Lord have mercy, which is, here we are. Those. So I was happy to see that she filed a lawsuit. Okay, so this is Nicole Collier, who has been kidnapped. She has been kidnapped in the assembly, in the Texas Assembly. But I was so frustrated with this when I first found out about it that I wasn't waiting. I don't trust this court. I wasn't waiting for none of that. So instead, what I did do, remove that. What I did do is I called 911. I called 911 because this is ridiculous. And I want to make sure that if they are inconveniencing this woman, if they're going to kidnap a black lady, it ain't going to be without records. Okay? Listen to what happened when I called 911 to report this kidnapping. Sure.
Communications, how can I help you?
Yes, is this emergency services, please? Oh, yeah, and it took me forever, y'all, to get the number because I'm in Houston. And, if you dial 911, it just gets you local, and then they transferred me to Austin, and then it was a whole bunch of stuff. But yes, ma'am, I called the police, and I'm going to call them every day that they don't let that lady go home to her kids and do whatever else. And then I'm going to break down the law and show you why.
The dispatch for the Texas Highway Patrol in Austin.
Thank you.
How can I help you?
Yeah, that's what I need. I need to report a kidnapping.
Okay, ma'am. What's the situation you're reporting?
Okay, there's a kidnapping. It's at 1100 Congress Avenue. 2 white gentlemen, 2 white men. They're not gentlemen. There's nothing gentleman about them. But I need to report that. And that's at 1100 Congress. And someone needs to report over there immediately.
Okay, ma'am. We are aware of the situation.
What situation?
With the representative.
Which one?
Which one are you speaking of?
I'm specifically speaking of Nicole Collier, Collier. She's being kidnapped by 2 white guys. I'm looking at it live right now. Literally, that was like 7 in the morning.
Yes, ma'am. Is there any particular information you want to add to your request?
Yeah, get her out of there. You can't just let these guys kidnap her. What is the process? What's being done? This is America.
I don't have the particulars on the situation.
Okay, but she wants to leave. She's been telling everyone to help her get out of there, and that's what I'm here to do. Can I get a report number? So I guess I'm just confused with the lack of urgency. I mean, if you were being held against your will somewhere, wouldn't you want DPS or the police or whomever to come and help you?
Okay, ma'am, I can take your name and number with your complaint, but this is an emergency line, so if you don't have any information to add, I need to let you go.
Okay, I will give you my information.
Okay, please go ahead.
First name, Symone, Symone. Last name is Redwine, Redwine.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want my cell or email or what else do you need?
A cell would be fine then.
Okay. My cell is 214-575-8300. Can I get a report number or something? That's my office. So y'all call my office if you need anything. Call my office. Legal Bestie, SymoneRedwine.com.
Report number is going to be 1385822.
1385822. Okay. Is there an ETA for this?
No, ma'am. This is an ongoing situation. It has been reported to us. We have a case open on it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a good night. I hate these people. I hate these. Yes. Oh my God. Yolanda, it says she seems very reluctant. Her tone is wild. Total lack of concern. Girl, listen. What I am, here we go. I am a receipt queen and I am a, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I'm a receipt queen. And one thing you always have is documentation. I read her lawsuit. I'm going to put it's very short. And what I was concerned about is she's asking to be released, but baby, you deserve pain, suffering, and anything else. Anything that someone would get if they are unlawfully arrested and detained by police officers. Miss Collier, Rep Collier, you need that too. Thank you so much, Jeannie. I really appreciate that. Yes, they kidnapped her and the photo is insane. No, they absolutely did. So, and here's the thing. I'm going to put the lawsuit up on the screen. It's very basic. It's 4 pages. The gist of it is this. I literally saw a beautiful attorney on the news. She's a legal correspondent on the news. And she was like, is this legal? Yes, it actually is. Bitch, no, it's not. It's not legal. You didn't read nothing. There's a complete misconception. No, it is not legal. Here's why it's not legal. They're running around saying, oh, Texas law allows the assemblyman of the House to have the marshals arrest someone and lock the doors and keep them in for a vote. Bitch, that's not what's happening. That is not at all what happened. That can happen if you got to go find the person and they're not present. Or if you're in the middle of a pending vote and you guys aren't done and you need everyone to stay in there to finish the vote. That ain't what happened. Specifically, what she breaks down in her lawsuit is number 1. Why are you arresting and detaining her? And it is detention. Why are you detaining someone who is present? You cannot detain somebody who's present, dumb. And yes, this is detention. Someone said, well, she had the right to, she could have signed a consent. That's not what consent is. Consent must be freely given. Otherwise, it's slavery, okay? Do you think that, did the slaves consent to working in the fields? No. With consent, you have to have the ability to say yes or no. It can't be, oh, well, if you don't consent, you get arrested. That's not consent. Best example is this. Under the law, the Supreme Court found, like, if the cops come to your house, right, and they say, I want to search your house, and they don't have a warrant. They don't actually have a warrant, but they say, come on, you need to just let me in there. I have a warrant. They don't show it to you, but I have a warrant. So you got to just let me in there. The law says that's an invalid warrant, and whatever they find can't be used against you. Why? Because they're not allowed to enter your premises or to basically claim a law that's applicable that isn't. There, if you don't, and specifically, it took away the homeowner's consent, right? Their ability to actually consent, because you made them think they didn't have a choice. Here, they've made Nicole Collier and the other Texas reps feel like we don't have a choice. So some of them, all the others actually sign. All the others sign that little permission slip that says now they're going to get stalked by the cops. So that's not even a valid consent. That's not a valid permission slip. Oh, and by the way, it's not a permission slip, okay? It's not a permission slip. You know what it is? It's this. It's got dang slave papers, okay? Those are slave papers. It ain't no difference. Like this one here, okay? Where's Miss Gracie? Miss Gracie was trying to go out in the country. This is the slave. Yeah, I found this little slave paper. There's a whole bunch of these are all slave passes. I was like, that's what they doing with these people. Giving little slave passes so they could just, you can leave with the DPS, which is the Department of Public Safety, basically cops surrounding you everywhere you go. So take your little, there you go. Here you go. This is for ELAC. He got little slave papers, okay? Those are slave papers that unfortunately all them Dems had. This is Grace. Grace has her slave papers. It said, Grace has my permission to sleep in the patron's lot for 3 months from the date of October 3rd, 1849. NASA said you can go, y'all. NASA said you can go. That's what that is. No. Oh, and by the way, this one actually had said, it said something like her son gave her, she needed to go over there to go visit her son or something stupid like that. Like something like completely like cruel like that. My point is this. These people are all stupid. They're making it up as they go. It's going to get worse, so we have to prepare ourselves with the law. She did a really good job in this document. Someone said, I'm confused. So just to recap, what's going on is State Rep Nicole Collier has been kidnapped and locked in the State House for the last 2 days. The reason they said is because she would not agree, like the other Dems did, to sign a piece of paper stating that cops can detain her, surround her, and give 24-hour watch to her. They're going to go everywhere that she goes to ensure that she comes back to vote. That's against the law. Under the law, what they can do is this. Under the law, it says, quote, the question before the court is not whether the House Sergeant at Arms can arrest an absent quorum breaking member. If you're absent and you're breaking quorum, yes, in Texas, you can get arrested. Our Supreme Court decided that weird shit in 2021. But here, the issue is that she is not absent and is present, and they are locking her up. They are kidnapping her. The Constitution does not allow that of Texas or anywhere else. It says a member can be compelled by the Sergeant at Arms to attend a session if he or she is physically absent. So Republicans are using this to say like, oh, no, it's fine. Let her sleep in there. He can do that. No, she's not absent. She's there. And the more important part is she's there and ain't nobody else there. He left. They literally left and locked her in there. They is in the head of the assembly, all of that. So there's no vote for her to render. There's no quorum. How you going to break quorum and ain't no quorum? It says, quote, the government is without any legal authority to detain members when a quorum is not needed to conduct business. That's number one. And great point she makes. She says, listen, at the time she filed this, which was Monday when they were locking her up, she actually filed this Monday night. And I don't understand why she still hasn't had a hearing. This is in Austin courts. She should have had a hearing the next day, period. I don't know what these judges got going on, but when I was presiding, baby, I would have rearranged whatever and been like, get that black lady out of there. Let her go home to her kids. Specifically, she says there is no calendar for the House today. There's no calendar for tomorrow or any upcoming date. There is no pending vote. There is no action for which quorum is even needed. When she stated this, there actually, at the time she filed this, wasn't even one for Wednesday. So that's it. That's how basic her motion is, because it's right. The bottom line is they're trying to make an example out of her. Will I be on Don later to explain this? I think he's going up now. Oh, wait, it's 2. I'll see if he needs me. He's got some great content. I don't mind. Actually, I'm glad you said that. I should offer. So the gist of it is this. I'm going to give you guys this Cliff Notes because I know y'all got real jobs and y'all be working. The Cliff Notes are this. They kidnapped this black lady. They locked her in the chamber until today. Today is now Wednesday. She has been there since Monday and Tuesday. And they said they wouldn't let her leave because she wouldn't agree to remain in police custody until whenever. Now, many people have asked, why the hell did they come back? That was my question. Why did they come back after the 14 days? And I wanted to know, well, how long would they need to wait it out until it would have been too late for the redistricting to take effect for the midterm? So the answer is about December 18th. So, we're in August. They likely would have had to stay away until December 18th. Many of them simply couldn't afford it. They needed to go home. They have real jobs. They only make $700 a month doing this. So that was a component of it. But then also, the question is, why did they come back? There was a second component. They said they had two demands. The Dems wanted the session to end. It ended last Friday. And then, of course, they created another session. So I'm like, why the hell do you care about that? But secondly, what they wanted is they wanted confirmation from California that California would work to redistrict to gain our missing seats. Here's the problem. That ain't enough. This is the stuff that be pissing people off about Dems. That's not enough. You cannot do 5 for 5. They take 5, you got to take 10. Okay? It's like when I was in 7th grade and I got in a fight with that girl, and I was a little bitty old thing. Okay, about 98 pounds. But my daddy taught me to keep a good what you call that? To keep a good rock in my sock. Baby, slinging that thing. I was slinging that thing. Okay, I just had to act crazy and beat her one good time, and she didn't with me no more. So we have California that says yes, and California has the votes. California's got like 75%. But as a result, that's why California needs to take more than just the 5. So there's a disproportionate number of 5 votes that they're trying to pick up for Trump. But here's the thing. In regular people speak, it's 5 congressional votes. But in reality, what it now means is that in the state of Texas, when this passes, for every 56 Republican votes, it has the power of 79 votes. But for every 42 Democratic votes, it only's got the power of 21. They were buying time. And we need, I did see it on Dawn yesterday even. We need New York to cut up. And the other challenge, so the solution right now, Supreme Court's not going to be a solution. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're going to try their darndest, but the problem is that the law assumes no racism. What the fuck? We had a Civil Rights Voting Act for a reason, because historically voting is how they disenfranchise us. But the Supreme Court now, they ruled since 2019 that as long as the Republicans go to court and say, hey guys, we weren't being racist, we were just being Republican, we just wanted to get more Republican seats, then it shifts the burden to Dems or Hispanics or whoever else to then prove it's not just about politics, but that it was racist. And they get the benefit of the doubt under the law. They used to not, but they get the benefit of the doubt under the law. And under the law in Texas, there's only been one district, and that was back in like 2019, that was ever penalized and told that they had to redraw it. That was because it was a very Hispanic district that was like South Texas, like down by the border, and they flipped it to make it Caucasian. It was very, very, very obvious. Right? If there's no racism, why are they counting races? Oh, my favorite part was earlier today. There was a quote where he says, I didn't even look at the races. Multiple state reps said, oh, we didn't look at the races when we did that. Oh, we used a different company, and the company, I don't know how they came up with these numbers. Yes, you do. If you look at the map for Texas, for Dallas in particular, it's sliced like this. Okay. It makes no sense. But what they've done to try to be able to go to the court and say, oh, we're not racist, is number one, they say, and here's the little map, because I do graphics, y'all. I do graphics. Number one, they say, oh, well, guys, we added more Hispanic districts, and there used to be no Black district, and now we've got 2 Black districts for you colored. Fuck you. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I'm going to show you this graphic because it's a goddamn lie. Here it is. It is. Here we go. I was just like, you got to be. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Y'all got to see this. Y'all got to see this foolishness. Look at this. They think we really stupid. They think we're so stupid. I don't like ugly. They going to hell just like they slave master granddaddies. I do know that. All right, so you see here it says Texas population 2025. All right, so this is what the proposal. Yes. So the real population, green is Hispanic. So 40% Hispanic, 39% white, 12% Black, 6% Asian. All right. Now what they want to flip it to is what they're proposing. They're going to add one more Hispanic district. So now there'll be 8 Hispanic districts. They're increasing the white districts by 2, effectively. the percentages by 2 more districts. So they go up to 24. Oh, but they give the coloreds, they give us blacks 2 districts. And then no majority is reduced to 4. No majority, they structured that. That's where they pull like the immigrant Hispanics that can't vote and they mash those with the whites and so forth. That's why there's no majority. And I hate when they say no majority. No majority means not majority white, but they're still combining it. So in effect, the problem is that with these 8 districts, yeah, it looks like, oh gosh, we gave an additional Hispanic district. We created 2 black districts, but they're not telling you that in doing that, they literally pitted the 2 black reps in Dallas against each other. So now they're one territory or took away a territory. And then the same thing for Houston. They pitted them together. So we've got those 2. And we had more. We already had those. We actually had 4 before. It may not have looked at pursuant to those numbers, but I'm living it. So that's how I know that. So in the end, I'm going to see. So what's the answer? So the answer is it's illegal. Let me clarify. What they've done to Rep. Collier was illegal. It's illegal to do that. I think that the issue is now moot because she's there and she's voting. So they should be letting her go home today. If not, I'm going to call 911 again, like I did before. And we're screwed at the Supreme Court is the answer. I hate to say it. We're screwed. We're screwed at the Supreme Court. What's going to have to happen is that either the Dems these are the 2 solutions that I'm thinking. Each of the Dem states is going to have to do twice as much as they're stealing. I think about it. If you steal $10 from me, bitch, I'm going to take 100 from you. Why would I only take 10 back from you? You're a terrible person. I have to teach you a lesson. The Dems are not teaching the proper lessons. Hell, I am so proud of Rep. Jolanda Jones. She didn't go back. She's still out. She's, I'm not going back with them people. Listen, if they could have, they should have stayed out till December. That was the only hope. Now that that's gone, then the hope is that New York, Chicago, and California pick up enough seats to even it out. But right now, the math that California is proposing is just going to make it even. That's not going to count. The other and the last, but the longest shot I'm thinking is potentially as a solution would be, y'all, we got to start planting people in the Republican Party. That's all it's going to be. We got to start planting people. Y'all, let's think about it. Think about it. First of all, it'd be easy to get like a real good Hispanic because their Hispanic base is growing on the Republican Party. Largely, it's religious, this, that, and the third. But if you notice with the black Republicans, okay, that they have that are their spokespersons, they are the most ignorant ass people ever. I met one guy who he was like the chair of like the Miami or Fort Lauderdale Republican Party. Honey, he was a felon. I was like, you can't even vote. But he didn't care because he was getting kickbacks. That's different. We need some political plans. Okay. Get your cousin Ray Ray. Get your cousin Lulu. They're already a little bit nutty and they probably can't even read real good. Anyways, you know, re-register them to vote because the thing of it is, they probably never voted before. You can send them to the primary, right? And just have them go on in that Republican primary. And then we're going to just groom you. We're just going to groom you at the lower level and just take y'all up. That's the only thing I think of. That's the only thing I think of. Because look at Candace Owens. And let's not forget about that Blacks for Trump man. He looked just like an Australian Aborigine. Hold on, I'm going to get a picture of him real quick. The Blacks for Trump. I saw him at the Diddy trial. You got to see this man. Oh my God. Y'all. This fool literally calls himself Michael the Black Man. You got to be kidding me. Oh, no. Y'all about to see this. Oh, yeah, this is him. I am ignorant. I am showing you this. I am going to show you this. See, this guy, y'all, this guy. We need people that like this. Then we can control him. Here we go. This one. Y'all know this guy? Pookie. Get Pookie and cousin. You need someone you can control, but not that they can control. So you got to have a little dirt on them. Like, I don't know, your cousin that went to jail and maybe they're gay sometimes and nobody knows it but you. Something like that. You gotta blackmail him. Look, so this guy, this Blacks for Trump guy, I swear he looked like an Australian Aborigine with a kit, an S curl or what have you. I think that might really be his curl. No, that's not his curl pattern. That's not his curl. I know that. That's blue magic. That's blue magic and brown gel combined. My point is, look at these people that they have running on their party, they're not going to pay no attention if one of y'all smart folks decides you're going to go over there and help us. I think that's what you're going to have to do. If you live in Collin County, which is part of Dallas, Collin County, Denton County, if you need to go on over to the Republican side, just let us know the plan so we can support, secretly support you. Because I remember back in the day, in Dallas County, there were a number of politicians who ran on the Republican ticket because it was the only way you could get elected for judge, for prosecutor, for DA, for all of that. Somebody said, baby, we need to talk. All of that. I don't know. Why don't I run for Congress? I can't run for Congress because I'm too ignorant. Y'all hear me? No, I ran for judge back in the day. So I was an appointed judge and then I ran for judge and I came close. I lost by 2%. And she had been campaigning for 4 years and I campaigned for from December to March when the election was. But I have to say, what I realize is I don't need to be anybody's judge because my value to the world is much stronger if I'm able to teach you guys about the law, share with you, answer your questions. And if I'm a judge, you can't do that. Judges are not allowed to give any public opinions on the law or cases because it could be used to say that they can't be impartial or this or that. And y'all know I have opinions. And I will say when stuff is stupid, I will say that it's stupid. To that end, though, I am going to be doing another law school prep class. So if you or anyone you know is considering a second career, going to law school, I'm going to be rolling that out. We'll have a webinar sometime next week. I'll confirm what date that's going to be. That'll be sometime next week. For the webinar, it is free. And then from there, you can decide if you want to take the course. But I work and help you literally write your personal statement, your addendums. Many African-American students actually need testing accommodations, ADD, ADHD. I help you get that. So this is just come. If you ever have thought maybe I want to be a lawyer, just come. You have nothing to lose. Also, don't forget, the thumbnail has it, but you can always schedule a consultation with me at SymoneRedwine.com. That's right here, SymoneRedwine.com. I take cases across the nation, injury cases, all types of different cases. I work with teams of lawyers nationally to get you justice. I don't take a bunch of cases, but the ones that I do, I work my butt off. And 30-minute consultation is just $200. Same for background checks. All right. This is like someone's going to go balls to the walls. Lieutenant Governor flipped to Georgia. Lieutenant Governor flipped to now. Yep. Come to the law school prep if you'd like. Oh, and last but not least, guys, I'm going to be in New York for a whole month in September. I'm going to try and schedule a meet and greet. It's probably going to be towards the end of September. So I'm going to drop a link so that you guys can give me your, I'll drop a link so that you can just RSVP so that you can start getting those notices and stuff. But yeah, and if you know of any podcasts you think I'd be a good fit for that record in New York, let me know, message me or them, tell them hey, go get my Legal Bestie up on there. I would love that. Yeah, we don't trust them in GA. All right, guys, let me know what other content you want me to drop below. But in the end, unfortunately, Texans are going to lose this redistricting race. But I sure hope that this rep who has been kidnapped for the last 2 days, she's not only going to get relief from the court, but she really needs to get pain and suffering. She's not asking for it yet, but honey, she needs it. All right, y'all, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and let me know what you want to hear about next. Y'all take care.